You know what I'm getting into?
What?
Binch with an N.
I do like a binge. I like to say bixth too.
But I don't like when you do bixth.
Why?
Because that C is so hard. As opposed to like binch.
Bixth.
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 Coffee binch.
Coffee Bench. Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee Bench.
What a...
Episode 2, right? Alright. Alright, so we are continuing on with our Coffee Prince journey. We are now on episode 2. Jaren, what do you think happens next?
Alright, so I think despite Grandma and Mom's initial saying that it was going to bring disappointment to the family, I think he's going to bring Eun Chan home. They're going to put him in a nice suit.
Ooh.
And I think Grandma's going to be like, alright, we accept you. And then it's going to be a case of, like, now he's in this situation and he keeps failing upward. Like, he wants to get disowned from the company, but then they're going to be like, hey, as long as you're married,
oh
like...
my God.
Like, you know what I mean? I feel like the universe is playing jokes on Han Gyul.
Yeah.
And I really, like, because with that whole scene from last time where, like, all his friends are like, okay, he's passed out, take him home, lady.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just going to continue that trend of, like...
upward spiral of Hungil keeps trying and just keeps not getting the result he intended.
In line with my prediction from last episode, I think this is how Eun Chan is going to become the Coffee Prince.
Oh.
Like, I think at some point there's going to be a will signed if this relationship, like, goes to the point of marriage.
Oh.
And then, like, maybe Hangul will have, like, a horrible bus accident.
Oh, God.
And then she's going to inherit it all and have to deal with it.
Oh, my God.
So maybe we won't get to it in this hour and 10-minute episode.
Yeah, we're only on episode 2.
We have 17 to go, so I'm expecting it to get wild.
Technically, we're only going to have 16 to go, because we already watched 1.
You got me there.
Dude got him. All right, well, I want to, like, make a comment, but I know that I can't, so instead, let's just get into episode 2.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kara, and I'm into rom-coms.
Hi, I'm Jaren, and I'm into slime ASMR videos.
But we're both into hot drinks and hot boys.
And this is...
Just Kiss Already! Alright, so episode 2, we're picking up right where we left off. Will you be my lover?
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Hey.
It doesn't even like get better from there. Normally when the shows end on a cliffhanger, they like to pick up and be like, oh, just kidding, or like, oh.
Yeah, there's like a thing.
Explanation. But he grabs her by the wrist and just like drags her out of the bathroom. Then it like cuts to them and they're discussing like the details of this plan.
Yeah, really the most tense job interview ever.
Oh yeah.
Eun Chan still doesn't like know what's going on yet. He's just kind of sitting there being like,
it was a very naive feeling exchange because she just sort of is like, yeah, this is my registration ID number. Yeah, this is my like SSN. Like,
it's like for me it carried the feeling of like, so she approached him being like, I need money. So she is very much just kind of like, I'm trying to get money from him. So like when he's asking these questions, she was like, yeah, okay, fucking, if that'll get me money.
She gives him all the necessary information for like a background check.
Yeah.
Like that's just like, this was all an elaborate phishing scheme, and now he's gonna like open a bunch of fake credit cards in her name. And then he gives the line, which is like the best setup for a TV show I can imagine. Like, I'll pay you to ruin my dates. Like, wouldn't you love to just like have this scenario fall in your lap where somebody is on a date and you're like sitting around at a fancy restaurant. They're like, all right, now. And then you run over and you just like make it a terrible situation.
Yeah, you just gotta mess it up.
Like, it's the perfect job opportunity, I think.
I think I really liked that there was no like drop of the apologize to me. Like, Eun Chan was like, great, but also, when are you going to apologize to me? And he was like, alright, I'm sorry. And she was like, no, not good enough.
You're very right.
Apologize to me.
She bullies him.
Yeah, yeah.
Rightfully so. And then he's still saying shit like, I can't trust scum like you, as he takes a picture with his camera phone of her face without permission.
Yeah.
And then says, if you try to skip out on me, I'm gonna hunt you down using this photo.
I do love the just split-second decision that Eun Chan keeps having to just be like, yeah, I guess I'm pretending to be a boy. Just we had it in the hotel room of just kind of like, not gonna say it. And then like today of just like being in the boys' bathroom and being like, hey, what's up? Apologize to me. And then now when he was like, tell me your big ID number, and she starts saying the real one, and he's like, no, that can't be it because you're a boy. And she's like, oh of course, yeah. She changes a number.
Is that the significance? Is that
Yeah, the one of the numbers, the number in the identification number that they have, 2 correlates with female. So she switched it to 1, and that correlates with male.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. If that's true, that's like a really good detail to have.
I don't see why they would lie about it.
I mean, I didn't mean like... I just couldn't... There were no translations for any of the text on screen. So all I saw...
It wasn't about translating the text on screen. It was just she listed off all of these numbers and went 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, hey, what are you? Like, you're a boy. Yeah. 1, 3. And she goes, yeah, okay. 1, 3.
So that's interesting because I got that I was too impressed that she was reciting a 13-digit number.
Just off that she just had it.
Like 10 is pushing it for me. I don't know many people's phone numbers by memory.
Oh yeah.
But having to remember a 13-digit ID to identify myself.
Yeah. So I don't even memorize my like social security number just off the top of my head. So I don't know, folks.
I have to sing the days of the month song to know what month comes after the current one every time from January down.
Oh no.
So the negotiation scene was actually really interesting, just because of the approach she takes to it.
Yes, I loved it so much. My favorite part was when he was like 100, and she just kind of picks up his finger and is like 200.
Oh yeah, that was really cute.
I love it.
Just being like, no, sir, please, just like keep that finger up. She started you could tell she's not good at negotiations, and he supposedly is. The way, like, he just talks her down to 1/10 of her asking price. But it proceeds to get, like, a little more uncomfortable when she's like, alright, so they even sell cow by, like, the part that you're buying.
Yeah.
So if you give me a single head pat, it's $20. And then if you give me a kiss, it's $100. Though,
she then was like, we'll stop there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was getting ahead of herself a little bit. But then... They did a cute thing with that later where he eventually tallies up the price for a kiss.
Yes.
And he's like, $150. So, like...
he was like, a special gift.
That's bringing me back to one of the big points of this episode. Is Hangul might just actually be gay?
You know, it's, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to say anything.
Really? I would be very surprised
because I can't tell you one way or another, but this isn't the last of this, like, thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a Mulan, like a General Shang situation, where it's just like, the whole time he's like, am I? And then at the end he sees that it's woman, and he's like, oh, thank God.
I was safe the whole time.
I was never gay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have this whole deal that has been made. Eun Chan has a job as fake gay boyfriend who comes in to end the dates. And then it's time to go home. And I have a cool, fun, I'm not even gonna say love-hate relationship, because I love this scene so much. And I know that it's bad that she's like, I'm just gonna get in your car, dude who I just met and who may or may not be, like, totally scamming me, whatever. But also, this scene where he is, like, driving her to the subway station or home or wherever the heck he drops her off is so great. Because she's just having the time of her life. And, like, it's so funny to see them go from this just, like, I need money from you, and I hate you, and you're scum, and blah, 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 and you're you're a criminal, to just, like, here she is in his car, and he's doing his best to be, like, angry about it, but she's having such a good time, and she's being so freaking adorable that he's like, I can't even be mad. Like, this is kind of great.
The great thing about Eun Chan is that she's like an adult, but like an adult guinea pig. Like, just in her attitudes and, like, level of excitement at all times.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't the reaction of, like, somebody who lives in a city getting a ride home in a car. This was the reaction of if you went back in time and, like, kidnapped Henry Ford and brought him to the future and you were like, this is a convertible, Mr. Ford. That's what he would be doing. But this is just, like, a girl who grew up around these cars her entire life.
Yeah.
Just so excited to be in
that's the thing, though, is that, yeah, she's grown up around them, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the implication was this is the first time that she's ever been in, like, a nice car like that. Especially because it's made very evident that she has been using, like, public transportation all this time. You know, it's not like she does taxis or anything. So this is, like, probably the first time she's ever been in a convertible. So, like, her excitement for it makes a lot of sense.
It's definitely the first time because she's putting her feet all over the upholstery. And, like, credit to Han Yul, he doesn't even care. He's not mentioning it. It reminded me of that Vine where the dad acts, like, really scared that the convertible is closing on the daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And she just believes it 100%. But, like, in reverse. So she becomes way happier as it goes back.
I think my favorite part is, when she, like, hits it and it's going back and she's like, oh no.
She's trying to stop it.
What are we gonna do? Like, but she's, like, kidding. Like, she's like, what are we gonna do? Oh, no, I gotta grab it. Oh, it's back there. I guess we gotta have the top down. And he's like, Jesus Christ,
then
just sit down.
she offers him, she's like, oh, I'll give you $20 back if you just, like, drive me around the interstate right now. She takes her seatbelt off. She's, like, surfing.
She's surfing in the car. Oh, my God. And I was looking at it, trying to, like, think about, is this, like, green screen driving?
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
I think that, like, because there's not been green screen driving yet, and they've already done, like, stunts with the motorcycle Vespa. But, like, holy shit, yo.
On, like...
The cameraman was in the back seat for part of it because they get the behind the camera, like... So he must have been standing as well, or they had him seated and he used a tall camera rig or something.
God.
But I love the hair getting messed up as well from that.
Yes.
It's very cute.
There have been a couple of times where, like, Eun Chan has, like, woken up or taken her helmet off or, like, in this case, been in the wind and the hair has just been everywhere. And every time I'm like, this is great. This is what I want.
There were a couple things I wanted to call attention to that I liked.
Yes.
Touching the radio with her feet.
Yeah, just...
I don't have anything to say about it. I just wanted to point out that happens in a television show called Coffee Prince.
Yeah, you know.
And then there's a cute line where he's like, Jesus, you're going to make my heart drop to the floor. And she's like, if your heart drops, I'll pick it up. And I'm like, if that line doesn't come back later, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Yeah. Let's see. She sings, like, the money song, doesn't she, while they're driving around?
I don't remember.
Oh, man. I wrote down, she sings the money song. I think she's just, the subtitles kept being like, money, money, money. Like...
LOL, okay.
Maybe that was me being wrong, or I wrote something
No, it's
down.
totally possible it happened. I just don't have an exact memory of everything
I think
that happened in the episode.
I did just watch this episode. I think for you it was a little bit further back.
I've had a little bit more of a gap, so it's all fresh.
So they do slow motion. I wrote slow motion on Eun Chan being actually legitimately dumb because she's standing up in this convertible.
Surfing the car.
She's like, faster, faster.
I know. It's like, okay, maybe I will go back to love-hate relationship because there are parts of this scene, except I don't even want to because I don't even give a shit that it was dangerous or anything. Like, I love that scene. I think it's so much fun. I think it's so great to see her being like that. I think it's so great to see how much of an effect that her just, like, having the time of her life has on him.
Very true.
And it's one of those ones that I feel like every time I rewatch this drama, it comes in and I'm like, hell yeah, it's the car scene. I love this scene. And it's one of the first things that happens, too. Like, you don't even have to wait until episode 5 for, like, fun interaction.
It's, like, their first positive interaction.
Yeah.
As a duo.
I love it.
So they earned the slow motion, I guess.
They did.
But back at home, Mom is, like, sitting down at the table at Eun Chan's house.
Yes.
And I think she's eating a big bowl of Funyuns.
I don't know if they're Funyuns.
I'm gonna headcanon that they're Funyuns.
Okay, go ahead.
Just because I was like, that's a bowl of Funyuns.
That right there is a bowl of Funyuns.
And Mom is making, like, these self-control sticky notes.
Yes.
I thought that was super cute, but, like...
I think my favorite part is Eun Chan comes into the house and is just, like, high on fun, adrenaline, just had a great car ride, is having the time of her life, knows that she's gonna get money very soon, comes in and is like, hey, Mom, love ya, gives her a big hug, and her mom is like, I'll cook for you in a minute. Like,
They did something cool, which was we actually see, like, her Taekwondo trophies are in the background behind Mom in this scene. And I was like, that's good continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the background is, like, a weird figurine of Henry VIII.
What?
You can see it really clearly later in the episode when Han Gyul comes, like, out of the bathroom to change.
Uh-huh.
And there's just, like, it's obviously Henry VIII,
yeah.
like, hanging on their shelf. And he comments, nothing in here matches.
Oh my god, all right.
Oh yeah, so if you're watching at home, please go to that scene and confirm.
Please.
Henry VIII confirmed.
But yes, so they're at home and she comes and talks to Mom. Mom is trying to self-control.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that they need money. And then they're talking about, like, oh, we have this big debt. We're gonna make it, though. And also, Eun Chan has gotten pay in advance from Han Gyul. So she's, like, slaps some money down onto the table and is like, listen, guys, I know it's not everything that we need, but here is something. And they're like, where did you get this? Oh my god, like, please don't tell me you went to a loan shark.
You didn't go to the bar, did you?
Yeah.
My translation was just like, oh no, the bar.
Oh, okay. So, I know I've watched at least one other drama where there was a similar thing where there was a character who didn't have a lot of money, and, like, she thought that she was signing with, like, a talent agency, and then she ended up having to sing at, like, late night bars where essentially, it's like you make money, but it's like your patrons are gonna be gross and creepy and drunk, and it's like that kind of thing.
Not good.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly what they were getting at, but I do have, like, a very distinct memory of, like, seeing that plot line in another show. So that's always what I think of, is that, like, that nightclub singer job.
Something interesting that came up in this scene as well is that, like, Eun Chan actually suggests using the sisters' college fund.
Yes, I also wrote that down because she was like, hey, you know what? We've got the tuition school money saved up. Why don't we just take it out and then we'll make it back later? And it's like, that's the situation that they're
That's
in.
a scary...
That's another thing is I don't think it's a college fund. I think that's her tuition for school.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think that's like her saved money so she can go to college. I think that's like so that she can go to school next year.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
Especially getting into, like, what happens later, but...
Yeah.
This scene kind of ends in a really beautiful way with them being like, okay, time to have, like, a $10 or less party.
Let's have a party. Only $10, but a party.
I can relate real hard to that.
I too wrote that down in, like, all caps because I was like, $10 party.
Yeah, we could call it, like, a cool Alexander Hamilton party. Get your Hamiltons. And then... good cut to children drawing on the ground. Big, beautiful chalk drawings.
Cool, fun chalk. Cool, fun playground. We see Han Yoo-ju drawn, and all the kids love her. They're like, draw me something next. And she's like, I gotta finish my... I think she's drawn a lion.
Hell yeah.
So I gotta finish my lion. And the girl's like, I want a flower. And she's like, let me finish the lion.
So they meet up. Hangul and Yoo-ju meet up at this playground.
Yes.
And she's like, oh... Let's get meatballs.
Oh my god, yeah. And Hangul is like, I don't eat meatballs, and I've told you that many times before.
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times.
And it's like, it's something that he just says with it, because he's still got a smile on his face, because, like, this is a girl that he likes, but, like, you can see it pains him that, like, he's been trying.
It was such a plot point. I wrote it down. I was like, so did Han Seong like meatballs, or does she just really like meatballs to an inconsiderate degree?
I think just because of what happens next, I think that it was more of a like her and Han Seong always had meatballs. So she was like, let's do this. And he was like, not me.
Because Hangul very ominously is like, this is the neighborhood where the meatball man lives.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of hoping Meatball Man would be like a continuing plot point where Coffee Prince and Meatball Man, like, they join forces and open an IKEA cafe or something. But it doesn't seem like it's going that way. Next, we see Eun Chan going and getting the ice cream for their $10 family party.
Yes, that's right. We have to have our party. Our $10 party.
Yes, and she bumps into Sweeper's dad.
Yeah, she sees him, like, zooming past on a bike, and she's like, I know who that is, and she's, like, running after him, being like, Sweeper's
shouting,
dad!
Yeah. Oh, that would be the scariest thing in real life.
Yeah. But he stops and he slows down, and he's like, oh, hey, like, milk girl.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're the milk lady. And she's like, yeah, you're Sweeper's dad. And they just don't know each other's names.
Yep. And then they're like, oh my, this is so cute. They have, like, a nice little food exchange. Like, he's like, hey, you want some of this? And she's like, you want some of this?
Yeah, I think he had beer, it looked like the cans, maybe. And then she had, like, vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
So what a combination, really.
Beer and ice cream.
I didn't even think she was old enough to drink until, like, they specifically reference in dialogue.
Really?
Like, a couple minutes later.
How old did you think she was?
I had never thought about it, but for some reason, like, if you asked me, I would have said 12. Even though I know that's not accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, probably just because of the dressing like a Kingdom Hearts character, and the just natural child-like wonder in her eyes.
Yeah, and so,
But yeah, they sit down on the bench, and they have this little picnic, and they have a nice little chat, because both of them have thoughts.
He's kind of like, oh yeah, so, what ended up being more important, money or your pride? And she's like, oh, you know, it is what it is. We're flip-flopping day to day.
Yeah, she's like, I keep going back and forth, and he's like, you know what? I feel that.
Then he starts to, like, talk about his friend. And...
Oh, yes. We have the classic, so my friend is doing this thing.
My friend was in air quotes. And it's definitely a case of him being like, yeah, so I know this guy. He really liked this girl, and she left him, and it was the worst.
Yeah. Oh, also don't forget, right before we talk about this friend talk, we do have a very classic cliche, the food on the chin, swipe, cue romantic music, cue... I'm sorry, you can't say when it happens.
Objection.
Okay.
I really hope it wasn't framed romantically, because like minutes before that, they're like, oh yeah, I'm 31, and she's like, okay, I'm 21.
She's 24.
Oh no, did my translation mess up?
I'm so sure she's 24. We can look it up right now.
All right,
Folks,
so
we're gonna keep talking, but we're gonna Google it just to be sure.
yeah, and then just to reiterate, it wasn't like a cool swipe of this ice cream. He kind of like he's like, oh no, you gotta. He like
Well, yeah, but
there's
okay.
multiple fingers like touching her
Regardless
face.
of what happened, the romantic music started playing.
You are right.
And when the romantic music plays, that means the show is trying to tell you that somebody's heart is doing a little ba-bump, ba-bump.
I hope it's not Eun Chan's heart, because like I hope okay, we never got into the alternate title for this episode. The alternate title for this episode for me is Han Seong, or Baby Come Back, I Can Blame It All on You. Because this whole episode, we're going to talk about it later, I'm going to get real heated, I can tell.
Oh my god.
But like this guy, he just admits to wanting to like hurt Yuju. Like,
oh my
just
god.
hurt her.
Oh my god.
And it's the worst.
Okay. We gotta table that. We have so many more things to happen. Actually, not even so many more, but we do have to finish this before we get into that.
Okay, so there's like a quote-unquote cute scene where this like sociopath in training is like talking to our protagonist. Being like, oh, yeah, I guess you're mature
oh my god,
for your age.
I knew you were gonna hate him.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it. And I mean, like, he's not my favorite character either. I'm definitely not like, oh my god, second male lead syndrome, because I hardly ever get that anyway.
He's the second male lead.
There's two main male characters that we met. Who did you think was going to be the second male lead, Hankyo?
Mr. Hong.
Now see... what a missed opportunity.
He was the real coffee prince all along.
Aw, he was the coffee prince in our hearts.
So, it's just so upsetting to me, because we set up this love triangle, which was so good. And it was like, oh, there's history here. And these boys know each other, but they have a history. And then it's just like the breaking down of Han Seong really just like...
Yeah.
Like, oh, man.
Yeah, so... Okay. Putting the Han Seong Hate Train aside.
Oh, yeah, let's compartmentalize and we'll move that box over here.
So... Anyway, yeah, they're having this vague talk, and they get into this, like, Eun Chan gets confused, and then it's like, oh, okay, you know what, let's just say Mr. A and Miss B, and then she kind of gives them those labels, and then they talk this really, really vague talk about, like, this person, and what should we do? And yeah, and then we kind of end on, oh, she's got to go home because she gets a call from mom, and she's like,
yeah, the frantic running out.
No, we ate all the ice cream.
She gives him a beautiful piece of advice, though, which is, she says, well, if he misses her and he wants to hear her voice, then he loves her. Which, that's really important because it shows our protagonist, like, definition of love.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to come back later, where she's like, oh, I want to hear Hunk-Yul's voice. And then she's like, wait a minute.
We don't even know if they're really going to end up together. It could be Han Seong this whole time.
Don't. God, don't.
Anyway, so now we cut to Hankyo being third-wheeling himself, as we mentioned before.
What a champion.
Yeah.
You ever walk your date to her boyfriend's house?
And then he's literally just like, he comes back, and he doesn't even, like, make a comment, like, oh, hey, like, what's up? Like, he just kind of goes, here you go, and then
they,
goodbye.
like, walk past each other. It's brutal.
Oh, God. So, yeah, Han Seong is like, going into my house, and Yuju is like, wait,
She tells him, she says, I broke up with DK.
Yes.
DK, who was a character that I neglected to mention in the first episode.
Yes. We haven't met him or seen him at all, but we know that he is who Yuju cheated with.
And the breakup is, like, causing headlines. Yeah. So, famous DKs, obviously, it's gotta be Donkey Kong.
Yeah, she cheated on him with Donkey Kong.
Yep.
You got me there. Wow.
He's the first member of the DK crew. If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together. and up your ass.
Oh my god! Woo! So anyway, she's like, I broke up with him. I want to be with
it
you.
was so sad.
I want to be with you. And at first he's like, he doesn't
metaf-
say nothing. He goes.
He metaphorically and literally closes the gate on her.
Wow.
Which is, I thought it was a really profound moment that he was moving on and he wasn't gonna, like,
Yeah.
torture himself.
It was very interesting because we got this, like, series of very, very quick cuts between, like, his face and her face. And I remember watching it and feeling like, whoa, this is kind of fast. Because I totally forgot what happens next. Which is, he comes back out and he goes...
Drags her inside.
Yep. And then guess what? They sleep together.
He just eats her frickin' face.
Yeah, he just kind of was like, it's time to
He
kiss.
lift spins her, and, like,
Oh
they
my
cut to
God.
Han Gil, just kind of in his pajamas.
He's like on his porch and he's like stretching and like throwing rocks.
Throwing rocks and sitting on his butt like a sad
He knows
boy.
what he did. Oh man.
It's just so
Ah.
bad. Well,
Oh my
I shouldn't say
God.
it's bad. I should say that it elicits a negative response from me.
It definitely hurt me just because I feel like in the time, I mean, like, I know the whole story of these characters, but also in the time I've spent, like, reacquainting myself with them, I already am like, I love Eun Chan, I love Han Kyo. And, like, Yoo-joo and Han Seong, I'm not in love with yet,
Yeah.
you know? They have yet to kind of give me this, like, oh my god, I want the best for them, like Eun Chan does every time she opens her mouth. So I just, like, them, like, sleeping together and whatever was not, like, one, because part of me was just kind of like, this is not what you should be doing. There's obviously big pain still going on, and I
Real
don't think
big.
this is the answer. Not to butt into your fictional relationship,
No,
but...
I don't think any therapist would be like, oh, you know what you need to do? You need to fuck that pain away.
Yeah, so to cut to him just, like, literally picking up rocks and just throwing them at other rocks and just sad.
Which is weird.
Hurt.
Do we know how old? He's 29.
Yes, he's 29. And also, P.S. everyone, the facts are in, I googled it, Eun Chan is 24.
Okay. Well,
So, I don't know
believe
if your
you.
translation was bad, or maybe the whoever was typing, or...
Yeah.
or
Just a simple missed input.
yeah. But anyway, so she is 24, Han Seong is 31, Han Kyo is 29, and we do not know for certain Yoo-joo, I don't think, but she is older than Han Kyo.
Yeah, definitely that was the
Yes.
impression that I got, is that, like, they're the older couple.
Yes.
And he's, like, this younger, like, maybe he had, like, a young boy crush on Yoo-joo. Like, the weird older
Yeah.
sister kind of relationship.
Yeah.
So, it's like it's a raw thing. Because, like, I think of
Yeah.
K-pop as being, like, this kind of, like, overproduced kind of melodrama stuff.
You
And
mean
then
K-dramas?
What did I say?
K-pop?
Oh, my bad, y'all.
That's fine.
This is a big slippy. As opposed to K-pop, which is overproduced and melodramatic, for sure.
Oh my god.
K-drama.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it here just so there are no misunderstandings. I listen to K-pop, alright? I listen to a ton of it. This isn't a K-pop hate train.
No,
Just
no,
wanted
no.
to put it out
There's
there.
no hate train. I listen to K-pop all the time in Kara's car. So, it's interesting because we then cut to the morning after, and it's very, like, heavily implied, like, yeah, they slept together.
Yeah.
Which is something that when I think of K-drama, I'm like, no sex ever, never
yeah,
happens.
right, because of the slow burn. But remember, the other characters are free to do as they wish.
Yes.
It's only the main
We're
couple.
seeing this through, like, a weird lens, because, like,
Yeah.
they talk about, like, oh, 3 years ago you left me for someone else and now you're back and
Yeah.
you want me? What's up with that?
Also, we get to the morning after, and she is very much just kind of like, hey.
Good to be back.
And he's like, no, it's time to tell you that I regret this and have a nice little, like, emotional spill, and also that I want to hurt you.
You're giving him a little... He doesn't say, I regret this.
Oh, I think it's just because I wrote in my notes, morning regret.
Oh, yeah. She walks out. They hold hands with their feet.
Yes.
It's gross. And even though he made out with her, he's like, you can't use me or push me around.
Yeah, he's the one who literally dragged her inside.
Even though he literally dragged her inside and is now shutting her out. He tries to hit her with the same words she
Mhm.
told him allegedly, but we don't know that until after he says it.
Yes.
But he says, "Go away, I hope I never see you again." And then he kind of comes in with the those are the words you said to me 3
Yeah.
years ago.
That would have been more effective if we had at least known that.
They do have the most important storytelling detail, though,
Mhm.
which is Han Seong's shirt says Nick on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the Nick is out and the plot is progressing.
Oh, no! Yeah, honestly, they really got us there. I mean, they did just sleep together, so the dick was out. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, heavily implied.
Heavily implied.
Also,
dick
she's
out.
wearing a t-shirt with what looks to be, like, his face on it.
I didn't notice that. Oh my god.
Like, it's just an impressionist thing,
Yeah.
but it definitely has the glasses and, like,
Okay.
the hair. And
Oh, okay.
it could have been, like, Che Guevara or something.
Yeah,
just
it
because
could have really been anyway.
if you squint, it's a
Yeah.
big t-shirt.
But yeah, we
To
have
make a
this...
long story short,
Uh-huh.
he says, "Be gone, thought, because I want to hurt you."
Oh my god.
And I was so mad, I wrote down, he doesn't deserve his dog.
Oh yeah.
Terry, who is not in this
Spur,
episode.
who we love
We love
and
him.
cherish.
And then after she goes, he says, "Wow, she really left. Like, what a sociopath."
Yeah, I too have a lot of issues with like the way that I feel like he is dealing. I don't know if I want to say dealing with, just like God, it's such a weird, like, I feel like it's so hard to build up sympathy for this couple in the beginning, just because of like all of this crap that's thrown at us about like how sad the relationship, or like how bad the relationship ended, and like they try and get us with the like, here's how cute it was, don't you want it to be there again? But like literally every single interaction with them hasn't made me feel like, oh, there's like this, they like want, I don't know, it makes me be like, get away from each other, like stop being in the same room.
We never
it's
see
obviously
them-
not good for each other.
We
like,
never see them at their comfortable, we just see them at their tense anxiety.
yeah,
He throws a coffee can at their first
Yeah.
meeting. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
the flashbacks of like, here's how it was, are not enough to convince me that like it's not enough. Not
It's
with him
not.
throwing it at the wall and like this weird grab your arm, drag you in, sleep with you, and then
And then
be
tell
like,
you to
how
get
dare you,
out,
and then be
yeah.
like, can't believe you left. Like that's this whole, I don't even, I mean, I'm, ugh, God, yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
And then we get back to the cool show about
Oh my God, yes.
the coffee prince.
Because Eun Chan is like in her room being like, gotta mess up some dates. How do I do my hair? And is like putting mousse in it,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, what?
Going with the classic middle part.
Yeah, I gotta
Uh,
try it.
Gotta try it. And then that scene just kind of ends with her doing a big manly yip.
Yeah!
Just going, yip!
So then she goes to get to her date. Some stuff happens with like, she's running on and off the bus. There's all kinds of things. And then we cut to Hangul on the phone being
Delivering a straight up evil monologue.
Yeah.
She's like, "I will destroy you, you unreliable scum."
And then she just runs in out of breath and is like, hey, I'm here. The bus, my home, I'm here. And he's like, oh. And then he's like, what are you
He's
wearing?
like, "Don't check your message, your voicemail, ignore
yeah.
it."
And then we get super, super fun, classic makeover scene, except we're putting Eun Chan in a suit.
Yes.
And it's so good. I love more than anything them walking into this store and us having this like big montage of different suit parts, and then cut to Hangul like looking very seriously at like ties and shirts and kind of being like and then we cut to Eun Chan sitting next to a mannequin and like reaches over, holds hands with the mannequin, and is like, check this out, isn't this hilarious? And then just he dumps a pile of suits on top of her.
Oh yeah.
And it's so good.
I think she makes the mannequin give him the middle finger as well.
Oh my God.
I think that was what they were doing a little bit there.
It's so good.
But like, it's super cute.
I love it.
The mountain of ties. It was fantastic because we get a lot of like sliding transitions of all these different ties.
Yes.
And I was like, this is cute editing to show like
Yeah.
variety and a lot
So
of
many
things.
ties. I honestly, I'll be straight up. One of my favorite cliches is the like, we're trying on lots of clothes and we have to have the like, here's what I'm wearing this time, and it's always like some outrageous
hell
style. I love that.
I
I
did-
love those montages.
I wrote this down that this is my male fantasy.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, just like I want my Pretty Woman montage. I want Julia Roberts,
Yeah.
and whatever the other actor from that movie's name is.
I don't know.
And it's just so well done the way they try out a couple different outfits.
Mm-hmm.
I I think I wrote down she looks like a baby.
Yes.
But then they put her in a weird detective outfit.
Yeah.
And then they, of course, comes out in, like, the black suit that
Oh, yeah.
they have to match.
It's very, very dashing.
Apparently, during that montage, they had time to come up with, like, a secret b-boy handshake that they do.
Yes! Oh my god, yes, this next part, honestly, I think I love it even more than just, like, the trying on different suits montage. I called it the boys are too hot montage.
Yes.
Because they're just walking by people and there's just a wind just blowing.
Very reminiscent of Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, I love it.
It's beyond wind. They go through somewhere and they break the sound barrier with their hotness, and then the resultant boom. It makes CGI vegetables fly out of a woman's grocery bag.
Oh my god, the endless bag of like bananas and vegetables.
Oh yeah.
And then I do love the just like walking through the school children and like stealing some cotton candy.
Stealing their cotton candy. And then, like, blowing them back with the force of your energy.
Also, the, like, walk by an alleyway and then, like, jump up and look at the camera.
Yes.
Very good. I love it.
Very Saturday Night Fever, like John Travolta walking down the street and the Bee Gees playing.
Yeah.
Like, all it was missing was this big, funky Bee Gees score.
So, yes, we get our beautiful, kind of like our makeover montage, but suit makeover as opposed to the normal, like, oh my god, I'm so pretty.
Yeah,
like,
not just different dresses with varying amounts of, like, back and cleavage exposed.
Yeah. So now Eun Chan is ready to ruin some dates.
They come together as a team, and it's shown in a very cute way.
Yes.
Because Eun Chan says, action! And then when Han Seong is ready, he goes, showtime! And, like... It's perfect because they're acting, and it's this great cooperative moment.
Yes, I really love the going from like the shot of them pretending to kiss. That's like, of course, very very drawn out and very very overdramatic and very like Eun Chan being
yes,
like
the squirming.
Yes, so we go from like we gotta pretend a fake kiss for her to believe it to like kind of like standing close to each other to like this scene where they're literally just standing next to each other and girls are just walking past them and like being like ah! And then like the one girl who like shoves in between them.
Oh yeah, he let's see. He does Kebedon, where he just plants his hand against the wall.
And the same music that played the first time the dick was out is the music that's playing then.
Ooh,
yes,
thematic consistency.
Yeah.
Theme of dick.
Yes, theme of dick. The theme of dick is back.
I wrote this fake kissing is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it doesn't look like they're kissing at all.
It was so I love the like the angle from her perspective still didn't look real because he's kind of like looking up and being like, oh, and then going down and then like Eun Chan doesn't know where to put her head. It's just so over
We
the
do
top
get the
and
great
funny.
montage, but they do some cool camera stuff with he's looking at this blind date who he's not interested in.
Yes.
And it's POV, and the camera starts to blur because he's not focusing on that.
Yeah. I really liked that too.
And when they do the first reveal, because when you set up a montage, you have to show like, oh, the first one, and then we can show the time lapsing.
Yes.
But she sees them kissing, and she just starts wailing on him with her bag.
Yeah. Oh, and then Eun Chan just kind of like runs away.
The Taekwondo champion walks away
and
squats near the elevator bank.
And then sprints again.
And Han Seong is like, wait.
And he's literally like, Eun Chan, please help me.
Help.
She's just like, nope, you're on your own, dude. I'm just the date ruiner.
Then they do like a quick cut to Grandma where she calls him Bonkers.
Yes.
And Bonkers is tragically underused. I really
like that one.
I like Bonkers.
It's a very good one, and I'm glad that she used it.
And then the bros like kiss and high five all the time during this montage.
Yes. Oh, so there's like a lot of cool like fist bumping and like high fiving and secret cool bro handshake. But then at the end of the montage, Han Gyo, in his excitement, like plants a big old peck on Eun Chan's face, and Eun Chan is like slaps hand over mouth, runs off, and he's like, dude, what?
It's done in a wide shot with like no musical fanfare.
Yeah.
And I was like, this completely subverted my expectation of like the slow burn, like, oh, what's happening? Because it just happens, and then like there's no big deal made out of it.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I remember watching it and being like, oh, it really feels like it comes out of nowhere because of that. Because, like, the way that it's portrayed, it seems like it's going to be this thing where it's like, big kiss, and then maybe Eun Chan starts, like, rubbing her mouth, being like, ew, gross, and then we, like, cut to the next scene. But then we have this scene where she's like, that was my first kiss. And he's like, that was my first kiss with boy.
With a boy.
And it's like...
And then
But yeah, because I am kind of glad though that they didn't make a super huge deal out of the actual kiss scene itself,
Mhm.
and that two, they didn't play it off like it was nothing, and that they still had that kind of like, hey, like what the heck, dude, you just
Yeah.
kissed me out of nowhere.
episode 2 of 17, we get the first kiss between our alleged
Yeah.
two leads.
Yes,
It's quite rare.
that's right. Surprise.
And then he says be a man about it, which is something that he's continually bringing up.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, just because it's like, you're be a man.
And they're like, oh, let's go eat. And I'm like, oh, this is so cute.
Yeah, let's go get food. And then
Because
we get tasty food.
the job is like, oh, $100 a gig.
Yeah.
Like, it's a job. You show up and then you leave when the gig is over. But the fact that he's like, let's go out and eat.
Yeah.
Like, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's this nice, like, oh, male bonding. But really, though. We show, I did a little bit of research on this. Is grandma playing a game on the computer while mom is like, everyone's gonna think my son is gay.
Yes.
And grandma's like, shut up, I'm playing game on computer.
Yeah.
So I paused the video and looked at the game she was playing.
Okay. Is it as strange as the card game we saw before, or is this one...
This one, I had a feeling I knew what it was when I saw it. So I was looking at it, and I looked at the setup of the board, and I figured, oh, this is either Mahjong or Hanafuda. And just because I looked at the cards a little bit, and it's all drawn pictures with no numbers, I was like, okay, it looks like Hanafuda. So Hanafuda is a Japanese card game. So Western card games and gambling were introduced to the Japanese by the Portuguese and banned like 90 years later in 1633. So to get around this, they just kept making new card games, which had to be banned one after the other.
Oh my god.
Until you end up with like this great mishmash of Western card game with like Japanese cards.
Yeah.
And they don't have values. All the drawings are pictures. The sets look super beautiful. If you've ever seen the animated movie Summer Wars, that like features in the plot is Hanafuda.
That's cool.
And it didn't super catch on as gambling because the games can be long and the cards don't even have number values, so you couldn't like play poker with them.
Yeah.
It's popular in Hawaii and also South Korea. In the South Korean version of the cards are called Watu. Watu. And it's played during Lunar New Year in Chuseok.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. I love just going on random Wikipedia dives.
Yeah. See a cool thing and being like, gonna find out what that is.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So yes, we cut to before we get into their meal, we do cut to Grandma having a conversation with somebody who we've met before.
Yeah.
That's right. So surprise.
It's Mr. Hong.
Yeah, it's Mr. Hong.
I love Mr. Hong.
So Grandma knows Mr. Hong.
I think she referred to him as like Geshik, or during the conversation with the mother, she says, "Get me Geshik."
Oh.
So and then the mom's
that
like,
went over
what?
my head. I was like, I wasn't even focusing on that.
Really?
I think because I knew about the connection that like my brain wasn't being like, what's gonna happen? So I just kind of.
I look at every new
right over
proper
my head.
noun and I
Yeah.
agonize over it. I'm like, who or what is this?
Oh no.
So then it cuts to Mr. Hong, and
Yes.
they're reviewing like the plan for his coffee shop.
Yes.
Which-
Overgrown Diner is actually Overgrown Cafe.
Yeah. And it's also done very like sadly.
Yeah.
Like we're cutting from emotional low to like great shopping montage scene.
Yeah.
And then we're cutting to like this old middle-aged man. I say old and middle-aged. God.
You know.
This middle-aged gentleman who's having his struggling coffee shop and he's barely clearing his bills.
Yes.
But he's doing it for love and he's like, oh, my cafe has sentimental value.
Yeah.
And Grandma is just abrasively referring to like, oh, this woman, and I gave you your education, then you ran off and you just did this coffee shop with this woman.
And he has on his nice suit for this meeting and everything. Like, you can tell that he's like, this wasn't just like she's dropping on by and he's like, hey, like he got cleaned up for this.
Yeah. He's not just wearing his boxers anymore.
Yeah.
And they do this really sad setup where she's like, listen, I don't care. You better triple your sales.
Yeah.
And he's like, I come to visit you.
Yes, she says, I'm going to give you money, and I need it to be tripled in, like, 3 months' time, or something like that. So she's like, I'm going to basically give you money to, like, fix up your cafe, make it better, but you need to show me success. And if you don't show me success, then, like, I don't know, off with your head.
I don't know what their relationship is, because she mentions, like, financing him a little bit.
Yeah, it's really vague.
And she also mentions...
in this episode, at least.
Oh, yeah. She also mentions, why would I want to see a traitor?
Yeah.
Because she's like, this is the first time I've seen you in like 10 years.
Mhm.
And he's like, I came to visit you every holiday and you didn't want to
Mhm.
see me. And she says, why would I want to see a traitor? So I'm like, what is this coffee war that's happening?
Yeah.
But it's just so crazy that it results in this ultimatum.
Yeah.
And I feel like that ultimatum is going to be very important going forward.
And she very much is like, I'm gonna get someone who's just as, she says, I will find someone just as lost as you, and you guys will make it happen.
Really?
Yes, she
I didn't
does
pick
say
up on that.
And he's like, just as lost as me. Good luck finding someone. And then, surprisingly enough, we cut right back to Hangul and Eun Chan at their lunch.
Yeah.
Having tasty food, having a great time, especially Eun Chan.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time we get her in, like, a new context, I love her even more. I think the reason that I love this drama so much is not because of just, like, everything that's happening. I think it's mainly because I love the protagonist so freaking much.
Aww.
She's so great to watch, and she's so fun, because, like you said, she's guinea pig.
Yep.
She's just so excited.
She's really wonderfully acted, because the whole time I'm looking at some of these other characters, I'm like, oh, this actor is, like, he's looking cool. Like, this is good for his image.
Yeah.
And then Eun Chan is just committed 100%. So then I don't even see the actors. I just see, like, oh, it's the crazy hyper guinea pig.
Yeah. Yeah. So we cut back to lunch, and we have some interesting conversations. We find out the fun dynamic. We already knew that Hangul could not hold his liquor, and we find out that Eun Chan absolutely can hold hers.
Oh, yeah.
But before we even get into alcohol, as she, like, pours a giant cup of, probably soju for herself, we get this fun fact about her that she has, like, impeccable sense of she's got a good nose.
She a sniffer.
She calls herself Dog Nose. I think she's like, that's my nickname. Yeah.
She says her friends call her Sniff in my subtitle.
Mine said my friends call me Dog Nose.
I like Dog Nose.
I also kind of like my friends call me Sniff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she's just, like, demonstrates her ability to smell coffee, like, outside, and also, like, some man taking off his shoes.
Yeah,
that one was
to be fair, if, like, some dude just took off his gross shoes in the restaurant, I would be all over that as well.
The coffee one was impressive, though.
Oh, yeah, because she's down the street, like, walking into the building a minute later.
Yeah.
Borderline supernatural sense of smell. So,
just, like, a cool, fun thing that we set up that who knows if it'll come back.
Oh, yeah, I wonder if that'll factor into the whole coffee subplot.
So we have this fun conversation between the two of them. They also do what you were talking about earlier about how they're calculating all of the different touches.
Yes, very cute.
They're doing the math, and she's like, I can't do the math. And he's like, for someone who's so money-focused, you'd think you'd be able to do math. And she's like, ah.
I did the math. All the things added up that he talks about, that's 640 plus the 1,100 that he's already given her, I believe. So
and he also, this is also so we have a lot of fun Lazy Susan action.
Yes, it's one of those Chinese restaurants where you can order a bunch of things and put them on the Lazy Susan and then, like, rotate it around.
So that's a big thing when it comes to the cup of soju that Eun Chan has poured herself. That is literally, like, the same as the water cup that Hangul has. But there's also a thing where he's like, give me back the watch. And she's like, this watch, are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's fake. Can I keep it? And he's like, give me back the watch. And so she puts it on, and we get a shot of it rotating around. Very good. But then,
yes,
the soju cup gets rotated over to Hangul's side, and he picks it up as water. And guess what? It's not water.
He takes a big sip before he even realizes he's not drinking
he literally
water.
Finishes the entire cup and then goes, and then probably passes out right after that. We don't get to see because we cut away.
We do cut away. We cut away to Yuju, and she's painting.
Yes.
And really
painting
great.
Flowers.
No, I didn't think she was painting flowers. I made a note that everything was blue and kind of blurry. So was it like a field of blue flowers, or?
I thought it was flowers, which is probably just because since I've seen her painting flowers, I was like, she paints flowers.
I did remember that she painted flowers in the first episode, which is why I was, like, struck by everything around her just being, like, these big blue canvases.
Yeah.
Or blues and green, like, sad colors.
You know.
Cool colors if you took 8th grade art.
Yeah.
So I wrote that, like, that's symbolizing depression she feels over this, like, emotional manipulation from Han Seong.
You put the sad color in it when you're sad.
And then we cut back to him, who is he's, like, watching a sappy music video being made, kind of, or, like, recording.
Yeah, I think he's producing music, and he is angry because he keeps, like, pausing and being like, hey, dude, you can't even be on the beat. And then his producer friend is like, you good? And he's like,
He's like,
yeah,
sir,
sorry,
sir, we haven't eaten lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
Sir,
and
please.
he's like, okay, y'all can eat, whatever. Oh man, we already have this distaste for Han Seong, and now we're gonna crap on him the entire time.
Oh yeah,
aren't
it's
we?
happening.
So yeah, he's this evil producer who won't let his employees eat ever.
Fascist.
But yeah, so he's obviously distraught. We're shown that kind of parallel that they're both very distraught.
Mm-hmm.
He lets them go for dinner though.
The interesting thing, and this comes up later in dialogue, but she's channeling her emotion into her job and continuing to produce.
Mm-hmm.
So I took all that blue stuff as like her. She's taking the sadness and she's making art from it.
Yeah.
And he's sort of taking like his emotional distress and taking it out on the people around him at work. But that's just another reason. I'm just giving myself them at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, we get this little interlude of them being sad, and then we cut right back to Eun Chan has Han Gyo on her back.
Oh
He's
yeah.
carrying him down the street, and just like great, our wonderful butcher poet rolls up and is like, "What are you carrying, Eun Chan? I have a pig. What about you?" And she says, "I got large fish." In my translation.
Really?
What'd you get?
Oh, I got a great one.
What'd you get?
He's walking and he's like, "Oh, I'm carrying my pig. What are you carrying?" She goes, "I'm carrying my sin." And he says, "Your sin? Well, if you need my freezer, it's open."
That's 10 times better than fish.
So I thought the butcher is a murderer.
Oh my god. I really hope it's actually sin. Because mine just said fish. And that's nowhere near as fun as sin.
It's wonderful. Also, carrying him the same way she carries the drunk
Yes.
from the wine bar.
On the back.
Shouldering the burdens.
Yes. So she carries him, and first she carries him to his apartment, which I hope she got off of, like, his wallet? I don't know how she knows where he lives, but she figures it out somehow. She carries him there, and she cannot get him in this house.
She finds, like, 2 different keys
yeah,
that don't
first
work.
she finds his keys, and I don't know if it's just she's so frustrated that she, like, is just angry and, like, bleh, and then she finds, like, the spare key, and she still can't make it work. Regardless, she can't get him in this house, and he is dead weight. He's literally, like, all the way passed out. So she takes him to the dojo.
Yes. So he gets laid in the dojo, and then we cut to Eun Chan, like, brushing her teeth and, like, crouching on the toilet.
Yes.
And it's flashing back to her thinking about the kiss.
Yes.
Which is, it's a very important thing set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then back in the gi, back at it again. Kids are being super cute as she's, like, coming up the stairs to go to work.
Oh my gosh, yes. They're all like, hi, and they're adorable, and then she even, like, calls on one specifically, and she's like, bring this food to the man who has passed out.
Yeah, she deputizes him to feed the sleeping hot guy.
Yeah.
And then has to run because her sister is being in trouble at school.
Yes. Oh, also, really quick, I do want to point that out. I was looking for this in my notes, but when we have the flashbacks to the kisses that she's thinking about, the dick music is playing.
Oh.
So that is, like, the trademark,
Okay.
like, yeah.
Theme of dick continues.
The theme of dick continues. But yes, she gets a call, and she has to go run to her sister's school. She runs in her gi, and she's like, hello, what has my sister done this time? And she's been, like, getting money off of her classmates.
Yeah, it took me a moment. I thought it was originally going to be played for, like, oh no, this is so sad that this is where they are.
Yeah.
That, like, she's in school using her notebook to keep track of, like, her family's finances.
Yeah.
Come to find out, she's lending her classmates money and keeping track of the interest and stuff, like, in her school book. Which is a much darker twist than I expected.
And it's, like, it's sad because she's getting this money not for, like, the expenses that the family has to pay off, but because she really, really wants to be, like, a singer. And, like, it's, like, part of me, I feel like, has that initial gut reaction of, like, yeah, you gotta focus on the other financial things, but also, like, she's a high schooler, and she just really wants to go and take, like, vocal lessons because she has this dream of being a singer, and it's very, very sad that, like, this is kind of, like, you know, she's being
a lone
shark. But yeah, Eun Chan comes and is like, hey, sis, what are you doing? And, like, smacks her on the head.
Literally, like, tries to, like, put her in line.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, like, oh, and she's gonna revert. She's gonna be like, I'm sorry. We're struggling right now, and I know it was wrong. But she's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna become so smart. I'm gonna keep track of all the interest in my head where they can't find it.
Yeah.
Like,
she's like, I'm gonna keep doing it, but this time I won't leave evidence.
Like, it's really dark because I feel like Maybe she's got CB going around, like, roughing people up for the collection money.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that he did that, and oh man.
He was, like, stealing to support her.
Yeah.
She's like a crime boss, like, in the making.
She might be.
You gotta start young, kids.
But yeah, we definitely do get this portrayal of, like, so Eun is the younger sister who, like, does not have as much responsibility on her shoulders, and Eun Chan, on the other hand, has already described herself as, like, the breadwinner of the family, and is essentially, like, the main shoulderer of the burden, of the financial burden that this family has. Like, she's the one who's doing all of the part-time jobs, who's, like, doing everything in her power, who's debating, like, is money or pride worth it? And so when she is talking to her sister, it's not so much just, like, this interaction between, like, younger sisters of being like, oh, you did stupid things at school. It's, like, very much like Eun Chan is the responsible older sibling who is, like, angry and, like, doesn't even be like, oh, you know, she literally, like, smacks her sister on the head and is like, how could you do this to us, like, our family, like, you know.
Yeah.
So it's man, it's tense.
If I may, I would say that, like, Eun Chan is being portrayed, like, very much like a gentleman, like, trying to do the right thing in the right way.
Yeah.
And Sei has this kind of bent to her where it's like the ambition.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need to do anything. Sort of like a Jonathan Joestar and Dio Brando situation.
Oh my god.
It's just, that's what it reminds me of.
You know, we can really find JoJo anywhere, can't we?
You kind of can't not see it some places.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
man.
if Sweeper gets thrown in the furnace, I may have to stop watching.
Oh no! God, I'm gonna say it right now. There is no Sweeper in the furnace.
Oh.
Doesn't happen.
Okay, good.
Yeah. That is one thing I'm not afraid about spoiling.
Okay.
Sweeper does not go in a fire.
Sweeper, no sweeping.
Sweeper, no sweeping. Sweeper keeps sweeping.
Sweeper, sweep
I'll tell you what. So anyway, yeah, so we have this. And then we cut back to the dojo, and, you know, you leave an unconscious dude on the floor of the dojo with all these tiny kids. They're gonna mess with him.
Not only cut back to POV of his eyes opening slowly.
Yeah, and it's like you can see that it's like 2 pieces of paper.
Oh, yeah. And then we pan out, and he's, like, bound and gagged with tiny little belts. And there's just children running around. And he's, like, he's shirtless.
Yeah.
His pants are, like, pulled down a bit.
They're literally, like, screaming and, like, standing and sitting on top of him and just kind of, like, yelling and at him and like, around him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just tied up. There's nothing he can do.
Oh, God. And then it gets...
Oh, and there's one girl who's wearing his, like, jacket. And it's adorable.
Very cute. So Eun Chan comes back and, like, tries to restore order, only to find out, like, these kids are just kind of, like, shitting themselves.
Yeah, they all one of them is pooped, and then the rest of them are like, me too, I pooped. And she's like checking, making sure. She's like, who pooped?
There's straight up child ass on screen.
Yeah, we do.
As, like, they run towards Han Gyul. Yeah. And then, like, we cut and see, like, oh, he barfed.
Yeah, we could show the child ass, but we could not show Han Gyul throwing up.
No, he's too handsome to throw
yeah.
up.
So yeah, we cut to not even, like, they literally went back to Eun Chan's house, and she's like, let me find you, like, some clothes to change out of since you threw up. And also, once again, we get this, like, she's like, I can't believe you threw up over, like, a kid's poop.
Just a little bit of poop.
And he's like,
he's not father material, for sure.
No, he's not. So yes, so then she gives him her dad's old shirt to wear, and she even makes a comment that's like, not a lot of people get to wear this, so, like...
Yeah.
And then she leaves him in the house, probably completely forgetting that she's lying about her identity. And it's just like, here you go, come back to the dojo when you're changed. And of course he changes, but then he snoops a little bit.
Just enough to, like, shit on their interior design.
Yeah.
It's like, nothing in here even matches. Maybe they did it on purpose.
But he does pick up a picture of their family before we have not yet reached learned what happened to Dad, but Dad is in this picture. And he, Eun Chan is just as androgynous as a child as she is now, and so he literally is like, oh, was a smart little boy, wasn't he?
In my dub, I think he said he was even cute as a kid, huh? And then he catches himself and he goes, what are you saying, dork?
Yes, he literally is like, he was cute, and then he, like, looks at himself in the mirror and he's like, hey, stop that, that's gay.
I do love that he finds the pie chart that is her schedule.
Yes, her never-ending schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's got a cute little drawing of, like, a cutout photo of her head on a little taekwondo
Yeah, and
drawing.
it's got a little picture of her with her students in the corner.
Yeah.
It's very cute, but yeah, like, literally every hour she's doing something different.
Something great, though, is he goes back to the dojo, and he's about to close the door.
Mm-hmm.
But he leaves it open, contrasted to Han Seong, who closes the door earlier and then, like, reopens it.
Yeah.
He's leaving the door open, and he also just leaves a bunch of money and a free watch.
Yeah.
Or not a free watch.
Or no, the money is in the form of the watch. He leaves the
Ah.
watch, and then I think the note is like, this is worth, like...
3,500?
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pay me back later.
Yeah.
Got
So, yeah, we get this, and it's interesting because that was the watch before that he had been like, give me back that watch. And she was like, you sure I can't just keep it? Maybe it's not even real.
Cheapskate, come on.
But then he gives it back.
Yeah, very sweet.
Very sweet. Anyway, now cut back to relationship memories from our resident sad boy. Thinking about...
In the weirdest way.
Yeah.
It's like this cuckoo clock kind of setup where all these plastic figurines are playing Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
Just long enough for him to start flashing back to like a karaoke party he had with Yuju.
And it's funny because at first we start with Fly Me to the Moon and then we cut into like some song from like the soundtrack, like a song that we've heard before that's like played in the sad memories, I guess.
Oh. Credit to the showrunners because they're actually doing like really cute stuff in the flashback.
Yeah.
They have like face masks and the cute little karaoke thing.
It does. There definitely, there seems to be a big push for like, hey, their relationship is like really, really cute. Don't you want it back? And like, you know, do we?
I personally, don't want it. I really don't. So he like runs to her house.
Yeah.
Han Seong does.
Yes.
And she lets him in, and already I'm like, why, girl? Why?
What are you doing, you Jew?
They talk about work, and like he can't work during all this. Meanwhile, she's like unaffected, and he's resentful of that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, how can you carry on and compartmentalize your romantic and professional life?
Why do you get to continue being fine while I'm not?
I want to be the one who hurts you.
Oh yeah, God.
Pretty much what he says in no uncertain terms.
Yeah.
And then in a moment that I thought was going to be like really nice, Yuju just says, no matter what I say, you'll be unhappy. And that's basically a fact.
Yeah, dude, she got him.
She really got him. And then he counters that with like the most Uno reverse card move I've ever seen. Because he just goes, I don't think this is working. Which is like, you came here because you can't work. She's doing okay. Why do you get to say that?
Yeah.
And then he follows it up with, no matter how I try to hurt you, you're fine. And she's like, I'm sorry that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
God.
Yeah, it's really fun. Oh, and then we have this cool fun, like, he, like, turns away and he's like, it's time to cry. And then she, like, back hugs him and is like, I'm also crying. And we're all crying. And then cut to Eun Chan, who is not crying, but she's saying the word cry.
Yes.
She's looking at the, the newspaper, trying to find a job.
The classified.
Because she doesn't have money, and she needs money.
Yeah, they ran out of gigs. Like, I guess there were only so many blind dates. He just knocked it out in, like, a day or two.
Yeah, so she knows that she needs to pay Han Gil back. She also needs to make money for this freaking ring. We need money, essentially. So she calls up Han Gil, or she wants to call up Han Gil and be like, hey, you got any more dates that I can come ruin? Please?
She's like, why am I so nervous?
Yeah, she literally is like, oh my god, I'm anxious. Wait, why am I anxious? Gah.
And then we kind of dissolve to, like, this cartoon bubble.
That's right.
I say cartoon bubble, but there's also literal bubbles floating everywhere.
Yeah.
In this, like, very cute backyard wedding.
It's wedding time. Who's getting married, though?
Han Gil is standing at the altar, and then we see Eun Chan in, like, a
mysterious
nice wedding dress.
woman.
Oh, I'm sorry. A veiled, mysterious woman.
Who looks a lot like Eun Chan and has the same hair as her for some reason.
Yeah. And then when he lifts the veil on her, she's in a suit. And then, like,
surprise, it's Eun Chan in a suit. And she's like,
the wacky xylophone music kicks in.
Yes.
And then Han Gil wakes up and you find out it was his dream.
Yeah.
And not, like, Eun Chan daydreaming.
Yeah.
Which, this show completely took that from Hackers, because Hackers, Angelina Jolie is a character in that,
Mm-hmm.
and the main character has like 2 dreams about her,
Mm-hmm.
and then like he keeps waking up and he's like, whoa, whoa. And then they do the 3rd dream, and then they do it where it's Angelina Jolie's character waking up, so you're like, oh, it's reciprocal.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cute. And then in this, it's kind of the same way where you're like, you kind of see her anxiously talking about this,
Uh-huh.
and then cut to him who's also like, I'm gonna marry a man. Like,
Oh, okay. I never thought that the dream sequence was Eun Chan's.
really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's just because I knew it before, so I was like, but also just like when it flipped to it, I think because I saw Han Yeol and I saw that the girl was like, maybe Eun Chan, maybe not. I was like, oh, this is Han Gil's dream. Especially when it's revealed Eun Chan in the suit. I was like, that's definitely Han Gil's dream because he's like, what is going on?
Interesting. I thought it was because it started out with Eun Chan in the feminine clothes, like, because she knows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then that was her, like, anxiety about, no, he only sees me as dude.
Oh, I see. I get you.
It's open to multiple readings.
Yeah, it's we're having fun here. So yeah, surprise, Eun Chan in a suit. And then he wakes up to the call from her, and her name on his phone is saved as like hardworking youth.
Really?
That's what it said in my translation.
That's beautiful. I didn't even get like a translation for the on-screen text.
No, it was like the hardworking youth is called. And he picks it up. And he's like, "Hey."
Apparently he's out of gigs for her. Unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately.
And then she's like running late for one of her jobs, so she scoops like this massive mountain of trash in front of her.
Yeah.
And like scuttles off with just arms full of like plastic containers.
She's like dropping things and like being like, oh god,
God, what a goblin.
Yeah. So then we cut to surprise, Grandma.
Yes. Grandma, whenever she's around Hong Gil is always just smiling, and they always make a point to like cut to his big dumb smile face. Because he just loves his Meemaw so much.
Oh my god.
So they're looking at an old property that's full of shit.
Yes.
Like falling apart. He saves her from like $1 million babying herself on these stairs.
Yes.
So good looking out, grandson. And then surprise, it's Mr. Hong's cafe that apparently he lives above.
Yep.
In squalor.
Kind of like lives above in his laundry is kind of everywhere. It's kind of just his house.
his iconic boxers that he's always wearing.
Yeah.
And then we find out Grandma has sold Hung Yul to Mr. Hong.
Da 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 da.
The 2 plot lines are converging.
It's Coffee Prince. Everyone roll credits.
Then the editing like really picks up here, and they show a lot. They're intercutting between like Hung Yul's revelation that he's going to have to work in his life at some point.
Yep. He's
with
like, oh no.
Eun Chan's dojo just being ransacked?
Okay, yes. So she was running late to her job at the dojo, and she runs into the dojo, and she finds that it's just empty. It's like all of the stuff is gone. It's kind of like trashed a little bit, and nobody is there. And so we're getting this cut between Hung Yul losing his mind because he's got to work, and Eun Chan losing her mind because she can no longer work. Now I actually wrote down the video game boss music plays while Eun Chan and Han Gil watch their nightmares play out in front of them.
Like, it really does feel like a nightmare because at one point there's like a CGI ant just crawling on Mr. Hong's eye.
Oh my god.
And Han Gil is just looking at it like he's about to vomit. And then we cut to the exterior, and the sign on the coffee house falls down, and like power is flickering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened to Eun Chan's dojo? Where are the children?
Yeah, it's very much we're left on this just kind of like, because we have like, because like the Hung Gil side of it is very much just kind of like, you gotta work with this guy who you don't want to work with, and he's like, but it's so dirty, and I want to play and not work. And then we cut to Eun Chan like losing her livelihood.
Yeah.
Like literally this was her job that she like, not only like the one job that she had that paid, I feel like the best, but also the one that she loved.
Yeah, her like hobby job.
Yeah, like she loved the kids, she loved doing taekwondo, and it's like just gone right before her eyes.
I was absolutely more interested in the cutaways to what was going on with Eun Chan than with Han Gil.
Yeah.
Gosh. So
but and then we screen cap, close, freeze frame, end of episode 2 with our 2 sad protagonists. Oh man. Episode 2 in the bag. How do you feel about that one?
The first episode gave me a lot of things to be invested in.
Yes.
Like I got to see everything that's
Mhm.
going on right now. And now it's really it's trying to like push those groups together.
Yeah.
So like we got Mr. Hong like actually in the plot now, has some
Mhm.
connection to Grandma.
Yes.
And now to Hong Gil. He's got like his tragic backstory.
Yeah.
They're definitely setting up for the inversion with Han Seong and Yuju, where it looks like she's not having a good time right now with this crazy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like there's the backstory that we don't know about, which is like she left him for someone else and like affected him badly.
Yeah.
So they're building him up like as a heel right now, and then I feel like they're gonna do the softening where they make him more relatable.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because if they just keep leading into this, there's no coming back. Like,
yeah.
he's just gonna like smooth criminal lean.
Listen, if they're gonna try and ba-bump us for Eun Chan to Han Seong.
Yeah, if you want my reaction to be like, oh wow, will they, won't they, and not, girl, go get out of there, run, like. He's gonna leave you and then come to your place and then, like, still have sex with you.
Oh my god.
And then tell you he's just trying to hurt your feelings and be mad when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
He's simultaneously malicious and impotent, which is a dangerous combination.
It's very wild to me. So, yeah, we've definitely now, we're starting this kind of, like, coffee shop, Mr. Hong meets Hang Gil kind of deal. And also, Eun Chan no longer has the job that she was, like, relying on, so...
They did get that in the last couple seconds of the episode, yeah.
Yeah, I think... So, I'm pretty sure the last time that I rewatched Coffee Prince was a while ago. I'm pretty sure the last time it was, like, before I even, like, started college. So, like, it's been a solid couple years, I'll tell you what. So, I feel like I remember when I last watched this, I didn't have as much of a distaste for the things that are going on between Han Seong and Yuju, because I feel like I just kind of didn't understand them. And also I feel like I was just kind of like, I'm focused on Eun Chan and Han Gil because that's all I care about, because that's what I want. So, like, it didn't really, like, matter to me as much what was going on with this other couple.
Yeah.
Even, you know, in further plot that we'll get to later. But just, like, I feel like rewatching it, I'm like, wow, like, how did I miss this entire thing that was going on that, like, is so... Dude, what? Like, I definitely am very, very excited for what is coming up soon and what is coming up, like, because we're really kind of, like, right at that brink of, like, starting the kind of, like, big, real plot, because they tricked you. They got you. They were like, the plot's gonna be constant fake boyfriend, and then they were like, psych, you ready for coffee shop? So, I'm very excited, though, for that. I'm very excited for what we're going to see, what you're going to see, especially soon. But, yeah, wow, I didn't realize how much that I guess it makes sense, because now I'm, like, not a high schooler who's like, wow, I love watching shows where people kiss and also laughing about it, like, and now that I'm, like, actually watching it and not just thinking about it, I'm like, man, I really did miss some stuff, didn't I? But it's kind of cool to revisit this kind of stuff, because I do get to revisit those cool nostalgic feelings of, like, being a freaking middle schooler, like, watching this stuff and being like, oh my god, but also realizing, just, like, how much I am no longer a middle schooler. Aww. And, like, dude, no, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of weird, but it's pretty good. I'm glad that we chose this one as our first one, because I feel
Me
like
too.
Yeah, I feel like this is I feel like this is a good one. And I'm excited to see what we get into next. So, that's all we have for episode 2. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next time for episode 3.
Yes, thank you. Tune in next time. Han Seong is canceled. Bye.
Alright, bye.